Hello, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, you'll learn little-known facts about the history of China from the Xia dynasty all the way to the Jurchen invasion. China has had a very long history starting back in 2070 BC with the Xia dynasty. Since no written records exist, it is considered to be legendary. Despite that, it is believed that Yu the Great was the first emperor of China around the 21st century BC. According to legend, one of his greatest achievements was building a canal that prevented the yearly flooding of the Yellow River. The basin of this river is the place where Chinese civilization started. Yu's son Qi succeeded him to the throne. Thus, the dynastic rule of China was established. The dynasty had a total of 17 monarchs. The final emperor was King Jia, who was known for being an oppressive tyrant. Tang, ruler of the vassal kingdom of Shang, concerned by the mistreatment of the peasantry, led a revolution and overthrew the Xia kingdom in 1675 BC. This gave way to the Shang dynasty, which lasted until 1046 BC. During this dynasty, the Chinese writing system was developed and a 365-day solar calendar was invented. The chariot and bronze metallurgy were implemented. However, due to the many attacks by foreign powers, the Shang fell to the Zhou dynasty. Wu of Zhou defeated the Shang dynasty in the Battle of Muyi. The Zhou was the longest-lasting dynasty. It ruled from 1046 BC to 256 BC. This period is divided into Western Zhou, 1046 BC, 771 BC, and Eastern Zhou, 771 BC, 256 BC. The heavenly mandate in which a ruler had to be benevolent or else he would lose the right to rule was believed by peasants and emperors alike. Additionally, during this period, three main philosophies originated. These were legalism, strict punishments for minor offenses; Confucianism, follow moral principles; and Taoism, live in a state of harmony with the universe. Eastern Zhou is further divided into Spring and Autumn period and Warring States period. In the Spring and Autumn period, the feudal states started gaining more autonomy for themselves. In 475 BC, these states began fighting each other for hegemony in what became known as the Warring States period. The Qin state gained the upper hand in 221 BC. Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi founded the Qin dynasty. This was the first empire in China's history. It lasted from 221 BC to 206 BC. Despite its short duration, many achievements were made, such as the construction of the Great Wall to fend off invaders. Measurements and the writing system were standardized, and the terracotta army was built to protect the emperor in the afterlife. Feudalism was also abolished to maintain control of the empire. The emperor established legalism, which included harsh punishments for minor offenses. He also ordered all books that did not support legalism to be burned. When Qin Shi Huangdi died, there was a succession crisis. Shang Yu, a general, staged a coup and destroyed the Qin capital. He then divided the Qin Empire into 18 principalities. This general and Liu Bang fought a 5-year-long war, 206 BC, 202 BC, known as the Chu Han contention. In the end, Liu Bang won, and the Han dynasty was established. The Han dynasty lasted from 206 BC to 220 AD. During the reign of Emperor Wu, Confucianism was established as the rule of law in the empire. The Han territory was expanded. Vietnam and Korea were colonized, and the Great Wall was extended. The Silk Road, a trading route between China and Central Asia, was created. When the last Han emperor died, Wang Mang, a top general, took over the throne and established the Qin dynasty. He instituted some reforms, such as the redistribution of land and the abolishment of slavery. This provoked many peasant rebellions, such as the Red Eyebrows Rebellion, in which Wang Mang died in battle. In 25 AD, the Han dynasty was re-established, and it lasted until 220. It was known as Eastern Han Dynasty. During this period, the first Chinese dictionary was completed by Xu Shen, and Kai Lun invented paper in 105 AD. All these advancements proved futile, since when natural calamities which were exacerbated by high taxes were imposed on the peasants, rebellions arose, one of which was the Yellow Turban Rebellion. This rebellion spread throughout the empire, and it greatly weakened the government. Eventually, 3 of the generals who helped quell the revolt divided the territory among themselves. This initiated the Three-Kingdom period in 220. In this period, the kingdoms of Wei, Shu, and Wu claimed to be the legitimate successor of the Han leaders. As a result, there was almost constant warfare among them. In 263, Wei conquered Shu, and in 280, after staging a coup in 2166 and forming the Western Jin dynasty, Sima Yan defeated the Wu kingdom. Sima Yan united the empire that had been divided since the fall of the Han dynasty. He established the Jin dynasty, which lasted from 265 to 420. However, this period is divided into Western Jin, 265-317, and Eastern Jin, 317-420. After his death, a succession crisis arose called the War of the Eight Princes, which lasted from 291 to 306. This conflict greatly weakened the Jin Empire. Prior to the dissolution of the empire, many people from the northern Xiongnu tribes settled in northern China. When all the chaos of the civil war ensued, the non-Chinese revolted and formed several kingdoms of their own in what is known as the upheaval of the 5 barbarians. This gave rise to the chaotic and bloody 16-kingdom period. Several dynasties rose and warred each other for hegemony. It lasted until 439 when the Northern Wei dynasty united these kingdoms. In the south, the Eastern Jin dynasty kept the power. However, this dynasty did not fare well, since in 420, in a military coup, the emperor was forced to abdicate, and the Liao Song dynasty was formed, and over the years, until 589, a total of 4 different dynasties ruled. In the north of China in 581, Emperor Wen established the Sui dynasty, and by 589, he conquered southern China. His successor, Emperor Yang, was a tyrant. He conscripted peasants in the rebuilding of the Great Wall and construction the Grand Canal, which facilitated trade and travel between the Yangtze and Yellow rivers. An attempt was made to conquer Korea and Turkestan, but this led to the dynasty's downfall in 618. In the same year, Li Yuan, a duke in the Sui government, led a rebellion against the ruling dynasty and proclaimed the Tang dynasty, which lasted from 618 to 907. It was a second golden age for China. The capital became a great metropolis, with trade routes from different Asian countries. In 630 AD, the Western Turkic kingdom was conquered under the rule of Emperor Taichung. In 635, Wu Zetian, China's only empress, consolidated power for her own and formed her own dynasty, the Zhou. In 705, after a palace coup, she was forced to abdicate, and her son re-established the Tang dynasty. After many military campaigns against the Turkic kingdoms, and Lucian, a general in the army, revolted and captured the imperial capital in 755. This rebellion lasted until 763. It was a victory, but the government was greatly weakened. In 907, the successful Tang dynasty collapsed because of rebellions and power struggles. The last emperor was deposed and later poisoned by Zhou Wen, who declared himself emperor of the later Liang dynasty. This began the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, which lasted from 907 to 979. Before the fall of the Tang Empire, in 850, some alchemists were experimenting with different substances, attempting to discover a compound that would result in immortality. One of the substances that were mixed was ammonium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal. When exposed to fire, it exploded. Thus, gunpowder was discovered by accident. It was first used by the Song dynasty against the Mongol invaders. After the Tang Empire fell, a power vacuum was created. Consequently, in the south, several kingdoms sprouted up, being formed by local warlords who vied for hegemony. This period also saw 5 short-lived concurrent dynasties in the north of China. These dynasties strove for complete control of the Chinese territory. The last of these dynasties was the later Zhou, whose throne was usurped by a military general named Taitsu in 960. Thus, the Song dynasty was founded by the same. The northern Song conquered the small 10 kingdoms that had formed after the fall of the Tang Empire. The dynasty united most of China, but 2 of the kingdoms remained, namely the Khitan Empire and the Jurchens. The Song tried to stop these tribes from invading via bribes. Nevertheless, the Jurchens from Manchuria invaded, and the Song fled to the south and established the Southern Song dynasty in 1127. The Khitan Empire eventually formed the Liao dynasty, which along with the Song was invaded by the Jurchen peoples. They formed the Jin dynasty, which is also named the Jurchen dynasty. Despite all the turmoil caused by the invasion and relocation, several technological advancements were made, such as clockwork and the printing press. This dynasty lasted until 1234 when it succumbed to the Mongol Empire. If you liked this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe.